El siguiente es un podcast Radio UCM, Universidad Católica de Manizales, un proyecto de amor que apunta a la excelencia.
En Radio UCM, ¿sabías que? Apropiación social del conocimiento, un programa de la Dirección de Investigaciones y Posgrados de la Universidad Católica de Manizales. ¿Sabías que?
Welcome to our program, Sabías que, from the Research Direction. Today we have two guests. Our guests are Juan, Sebastián, Arcila, and Ángela, Alzate. Ángela, how are you today?
Very good, Matías.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Sebastián, what about you? How are you?
Fine, Matías. I appreciate to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Ángela and Sebastián are researchers from the Environmental Engineering program. But first, let's know them a little bit more. Ángela, tell us please a little bit about you.
Okay, my name is Ángela Alzate. I am environmental engineer from Catholic University. I graduated in 2005. Then I traveled around to make my master's degree in environmental management. Then I came back. I got married. I had 2 children. Then I started working here at university in 2010.
And it's a real pleasure to have you here working with us at the Catholic University.
Thank you very much.
All right, Sebastián, what about you? What did you study? What have you done in the last years?
My name is Juan Sebastián Arcila. I am chemical engineering from the Universidad Nacional, and I made my master degree in the same university, and then I started to my PhD in Mexico, in the UNAM, for 4 years, and then come back here and start to work in a university, Catholic University.
Okay, thank you so much. For both researchers from the Environmental Engineering program, I have some questions about your recent research studies, all right? Ángela, I know that you have studied about economic value in of ecosystem services. What can you tell us about it?
Okay, for many years we have been working in the Páramo de Letras with Gloria Janet Flores. She is another research here from Catholic University, from the Environmental Engineering program. We have been working with community, with social issues about the importance of the ecosystem services, but we were aware that the economic value is important because you can't compare with a market. Yeah, it sounds very strange because the ecosystem services are not a market, but if you compare with a market, you can say, okay, this is very expensive and that's why it's very important. So we are trying to apply some methodologies there in Páramo de Letras, and yes, it's gonna give us some important critical results.
I'm pretty sure that this information is very important for this region especially.
Of course.
Thank you, Ángela. Sebastián, I know that your field has been wastewater treatment. What can you tell us about it?
In the case of wastewater treatment, I work in a part of microalgae bacteria system. It's a novel system when you take advantage of the sun, and in this case the microalgae get a photosynthesis and create a symbiosis with the bacteria. And in this case is if you compare the traditional method or system to treat wastewater, microalgae or bacteria has a advantage respect to the traditional system because don't need oxygen supply and another advantage. For example, biofuels, the products of the microalgae could be biofuels, bioenergy, and pharmaceutical products, and another kind of products that give a value to the system.
That's awesome, Sebastian. Thank you so much. We're going to go a little bit more in depth in this. And what are some of the methods that you used, guys, in this research? Ángela, what methods did you use for this ecosystem value in the Páramo?
One is called contingent methodology, and this we have to use some questions, a survey, to know how much the community is can and wants to pay for the ecosystem's services. So that's why at the beginning we used a methodology, but it was very simple. It was with beans, and they, for example, say, I'm gonna put for the water supply 10 beans, and this gonna we have to use this number with an equation to say, okay, this is very important for the community. So it's a survey for community, how much the community is going to pay for the ecosystem services, and also another survey to ask the people who receive the service. For example, I don't know, aguas de Manizales, because the water is the
a very needed supply.
Yeah, they need the input for all the process. So or for check, or for the community in general, because if the wetlands are not protected, we are not going to have a good quality of water.
All right, so in addition to exploring this economic value of this ecosystem in the high Andean wetlands, it was also very educational for the population, right?
Of course.
I think that's also an added value for this research.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you. Sebastian, microalgae harvesting, you were telling us a little bit about it. And tell us, please, what method did you use in this research?
Okay. One of the first problem when you use microalgae bacteria system is the harvesting, because the microalgae has the same density that the water, so it's impossible to seedling this kind of microalgae. But in this case, I have worked for years in this area, this field, and I use a system. The name is high rate algae pole. It's a photoreactor, and maybe it's like a bat or something like that. It's a big reactor, and in this reactor you can grow the microalgae and treat the wastewater.
Right, that's very enlightening. Thank you. Ángela, what were some of the results you had in this research?
Okay, we can see that the community don't think about ecosystem services, because it's something that happens every day in its lives. So I mean, because we are not there and we are researchers, we are talking about ecosystem services. But they think there is a biological function of the ecosystem, and they are living there and they are doing things every day. So they don't think, the ecosystem is giving me a service. No, for example, the water supply is the most important because they drink it, and also they use it for livestock. So this is the most important. The wetlands are not very protected because they used to dry the wetland to get more space for the livestock and for crops. So that's why it's everyday activity that they are living there, and we can see that they don't perceive the ecosystem service as such.
Yeah, sometimes we don't value what we have in every day, right? So I think that's the situation there. Mm-hmm. Sebastian, okay, you told us about the high rate algae method that you used. What were some of the results that you found?
The main resource that I found was you can create aggregation, microalgae bacteria aggregate, if you change the operative condition or environmental condition. This is the main where is the finding?
Okay, finding.
Yeah, and currently I am working, or we are working in this system in the Catholic University, and we'll try to understand what is the main factor that affect to create this aggregation. Yeah, in this moment we suppose that the light could be is the main factor.
All right. Is there anything you could conclude at this moment?
In this moment, I think that during the process of the wastewater treatment process, you can find different kind of bacteria. One of these is the nitrification bacteria, and we suppose that this kind of bacteria support the aggregate formation.
Okay, thank you so much. And Ángela, in these high Andean wetlands, and what are some of the conclusions you can provide for us?
Okay, we were working with social issues, so this is like is more perception. So we used an instrument with the importance of the ecosystem services and the frequent of use. So we can see that as I said before, the water supply is the most important. Also, they see the wetlands a good land to have their crops and the livestock. Now we are applying now another economic value methodology. So we are show the community, okay, it has a cost, and it's going to be so expensive in the future if you don't change your activities that you are doing now.
Ángela, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to this short research conversation.
Thank you, Matías, for everything.
Sebastián, as well for you, I know that you have a very hectic schedule. I know that you worked a lot and you were very busy, and thank you for accepting as well our invitation.
Thank you so much, Matías.
Right, dear listeners, this is the end of our first research conversation with some of our environmental researchers. We hope to listen to you, to see you next time.